Hey, it's Dr. Amanda with Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com. Let's talk a little bit more about the Invisalign or ClinCheck AI. Again, this is all hypothetical. They do talk about it briefly in their investor calls and stuff like that. You can do a chat GPT search. It does exist. And I mean, of course, any company that's going to scale is got to use AI now. So, I mean, nothing wrong with that as long as they're using it properly. I don't know, and again, this is just my own personal opinion as a dentist. I'm not disparaging Align Technology in any way, shape, or form. I don't get paid by them. I've never taken a cent by them. They've never even said thank you to me for all the stuff I do. Not that I'm expecting it, but they generally leave me alone, or at least they have the last 5 years. So I'm hoping it'll continue. Ultimately, if you are part of the C suite team, as always, I have to give this disclaimer. If you don't like some content I make, you do not get to have your reps contact me and tell me to take them down. That's not how that works. You've done that before. You do not get to send me lawyer letters through the mail certified. You've done that before. You need to have your C suite team reach out to me directly. You know how to reach out to me. You have my email. We've talked before. Anyways, happy to take it down. Don't need to get nasty. I'm putting out information because you aren't. And this is what people are asking for. And this is what people are searching for. So, of course, there's AI. So I actually went into the literature, AKA, in this case, there's no literature, so it's ChatGPT. But I'm going to tell you what they said about the AI. So if you don't like it, you can look at the sources on ChatGPT. But basically, in a nutshell, sometimes I'm working on a case, and I think the CBCT feature is freaking awesome. So I'm going to put it out there. It's way better than any of the other ones with any other companies that I've used. It's just pretty darn accurate, in my opinion. I have yet to see it F up. Let's put it that way. That doesn't mean it's not going to F up because it's AI, right? It's your job to be the dentist. It's your, just because the AI said you could do something, if it doesn't happen, guess whose butt it is? The AI's? It's Grok's? No, it's yours. You're supposed to know how to do things. It's supposed to help you get to your answer quicker. It's not supposed to do the work for you. You should know better. So basically, the way I look at it is the AI is using the existing bony housing as a boundary. Okay, it's trying to do what it needs to do within the existing bony housing. Of course, there is sometimes if you move teeth slow enough, if there's still potential for bone to be built, sometimes the bone will move with the teeth, especially when you do very, very slow and deliberate expansion. Not fast expansion, slow, arch widening. It doesn't matter which direction you do it in the buccal, you do it in the lingual, you do it in the palatal. Sometimes I find doing it proclination in the labial, that's the least likely to happen. Okay. And so their AI and their CBCD does not show growth. It's not going to predict it. It's just going to say what's already there. So it might be totally possible to do a case with some expansion, some proclination, not to have any problems, even though the CBCT says it is. You're going to be more likely if you like slow it down by 3 or 4 times than what they said. I always tell you to slow down at least 2, but I mean really slow it down, which of course they're probably not going to like, but it's going to be more likely. That's just based on my experience. We know that. There's tons of research. When you take movement slow and easy, really slow, keep the forces extremely constant and consistent, you are more likely to get osteoblastic activity. So, more build, less breakdown. Um, so what if the housing is small anyways? Well, it's kind of unlikely it's probably going to grow with it. So you probably want to keep your movements within the existing housing. So that means you may need to change up your IPR. You may need to change up your torque. You have to be very deliberate when you tell the techs what you want. And yeah, you can F around with it all you want on your own. With the pro, I got way better things to do. I just tell them what I want. And sometimes it's impossible. If they already started with just a ton of bone loss, you can't make bone happen. You may have to send them to Perio first, but I don't know that Perio's necessarily going to be able to do anything. But I would at least loop them in and let them be part of the plan. Okay, so I did tell you I did a search, ChatGPT. Actually, this would be Google's version today. But I'm just going to read off what they said. Again, don't like it. It's not my words. Invisalign CBCT integration uses AI to segment your axial anatomy, roots, and bone from the scan, creating a 3D model that moves dynamically with the crowns. If the roots appear to be exiting the bone on your ClinCheck, it's because the software is highlighting biological limitations that were already previously happening. Okay, so how does the AI and visualization work? Actual data versus averages. Prior to CBCT integration, ClinChecks use average root shapes. Now the AI overlays your specific root morphology and alveolar bone structure onto the digital plan, making it more clear when a movement is anatomically impossible. So they're going to highlight it red, like you see here, if it doesn't think it's possible. That doesn't mean it's not going to move with it. This is going to be like worst case scenario. Think of this as worst case scenario. Sometimes you just don't have a choice, and we got to just either not do treatment consider jaw surgery or get the Perio's blessing in writing, always in writing, to proceed with the ClinCheck as is. But Perio will bless it, Perio will monitor it, Perio will babysit it, and Perio will handle what happens when things, if they go wrong. That's the kind of situation I'm looking at. Okay, so the AI segments the teeth and jaw from your DICOM files, but the precision depends on the scan resolution, blah, blah, blah. Real-time collisions. This feature is designed to show you root fenestrations when you adjust the plan. If you see roots moving buccally, lingually out of the bone, the software is probably alerting you to a possible bony dehiscence or fenestration. They said possible. They don't know. Why do roots look like that? Well, it might be unrealistic torque. A lot of times the AI is putting weird torque in. Torque is just root movements in the absence of crown movements. So it just could be very simple that you just had the wrong amount of torque. You might not even need IPR. So you have to, I always try torque first before I add more IPR. There also is something called inherent bone thinness. Some people, like I said, just have thin bone. That's just how it is. And if you do a beam reader scan, you can ask them, is the bone too thin to move this tooth? You can ask beam readers, that's how I do it with like ClearCorrect and stuff, because I can't put the CVT in the plan. So I ask beam readers to tell me how to move the teeth, Sometimes bone that's very thin, AI may struggle to visualize the ultra thin bone, showing a void or a root exposure. That's not really going to happen. It does serve as a critical warning though. So also you can have something called algorithm overcorrection. Software uses to try to achieve root parallelism, but sometimes the more you try to make the roots parallel, you can go into thin bone. So, but again, when you start moving it that way, nice and slow, it might not actually be thin. So can't really answer your question. Sometimes it's impossible to make the fenestrations go away. So then you got to decide, are you going to loop Perio in and get a blessing in writing? Are you going to refer this out to an ortho and dodge a bullet? Or are you going to wear your GP cap, but be very cautious and just be monitoring, just like we did in the old school days for Perio? But there's always a chance that you're going to have to pull Perio in. What's going to happen when you do? Are they going to back you up? That's why I like to get the blessing in writing. And or what if you have to discontinue treatment? It happens. Is the patient going to get mad and ask for a refund? Are they going to make a complaint to the dental board? Unless you have all the right things signed. And I can't always tell you if all the right things are all the right things, because even there's been times when it was airtight. I had everything signed. Like there was everything signed and I still had to give refunds. It wasn't worth the blowing up, and it was just dumb because I already warned them this could happen. They understood the risk. We had the whole honest conversation. We had all the signatures and I still had to give the refund. So could I have fought it? Yeah, but it would have cost me more in legal fees. So it wasn't worth, a tiny little refund, but frustrating. So now I look at things differently. Just because I have something signed doesn't mean anything. Now it's get Perio to bless it in writing. All right. Thanks so much.